Bonjour. This will be the last video in the Introduction to Probability chapter, and this is something that will really astonish you, and it will show you the power of mathematics. It is a problem whose solution is so counterintuitive that many people still refuse to believe the answer even when they are shown the proof. So, what do I mean by counterintuitive? It is contrary to common sense. It's contrary to what you expect to be the answer. The answer is something so different that you find it hard to believe. And some people still don't believe it. Okay, so once again, I come back to my very first introductory video where I said that learning mathematics helps you take better decisions in life. This is one prime example of that. I mentioned another example with my painters who were expecting one digit to come up in the lottery more who were expecting one particular digit to have a higher chance of coming up in the lottery because it hadn't come up for a considerable number of days. So there, as you saw, that was a simple problem, and there we with a little bit of mathematics know that every digit has the same probability as every other, and that the past has no bearing on the present as far as random events go. Still, they found it hard to understand, but you and me, we know better. So, this problem is called the Monty Hall problem. I will explain to you why it is called this as we go along. So, suppose you have a game show. You know, on TV you have these game shows where the audience sits and the host presents a puzzle, and you have chances of winning prizes. So, there are two doors on the stage. Behind one door there is a car. Behind the other door there's a banana. And in some examples they put goat, or they put dog, or something that is really worth far less than a car. So I've used the example of a banana. So behind one door is a car, behind the other door is a banana. You don't know. The host is the person who is presenting the show, who is running the event. He knows behind which door is the car and behind which door is the banana. So you are asked to choose one door, and if you choose the correct door when it is opened, you will win the car. So what is your probability of winning a car? So now, since you have no idea which door he has placed the car behind, it is a truly random situation for you. So the probability of winning the car is 50%. It's the same as flipping a coin or tossing a coin. You could say heads, I will open door A, B, I will open door, tails, I will open door B. And it's equal chance of being behind any one of the doors. So it is like flipping a coin. Okay, so now what happens if instead of two doors he has three doors? Let's call them A, B, C. One door has a car, two doors have a banana each behind them. So what is your probability of winning? Your probability of winning is 1 in 3, that is 1 over 3, which is 33.3%. In this video I will often, this is actually 33 point repeated 3%, but I will often refer to it just 33%. Understand that when I say that, I am referring to 1 over 3, which is 33 point repeated 3%. So suppose you are asked to choose a door. So you choose a door and you choose door A. Let us say you choose door A. At this point, the game host, he asks another person from the audience to come up and to choose another door. So because you have already chosen door A, this new person, she can choose B or C. So let us assume she chooses B. Suppose someone else is called and chooses a door after you have already chosen a door. So let's say this is you, A, you have chosen door A, the other person has chosen door B. So the probability of winning is 33% for you, the probability of winning is 33% for this other person. Correct? Yes, with 33% the chance probability the car is behind here, 33% the car is behind here, 33% the car is behind here. Each of you and the other person each have 33% chance of winning. Okay, so then the host asks you to wait and opens the door that the other person chose. So let us assume that she does not win. She opens door B, she only gets a banana, which in our case is not winning because a car is worth far more than a banana. So in this case, she has chosen door B, the door B is opened and she does not win. So now what is left for you? You have only two doors. Door B has been opened, you have chosen door A, and now door C is the other door left. So now there are two doors, one of which has a car behind it, one of which has a banana behind it. What is your chance of winning a car now? So it is again same as this situation here. When you have only two doors, one has a car, one has a banana. So what is the probability of winning? The probability of winning is 50%. Okay. So at this point the game host says, no, you've chosen door A, the other person opened door B and she did not win the car, she only got a banana. And now there's door C left also, so there's doors A and C, and the game host allows you to now switch your choice to door C. The game host says, you've chosen door A, but if you like, you can choose door C, and once you've made your choice of whether you want to remain in A or switch to C, I will open both doors and you may or may not win a car. So should you switch? Should you switch your choice to door C? Do you have a higher chance of winning if you switch? Think about this. If you have a 50% chance of winning here, what is the chance of winning here? That's also 50%. So do you have a higher chance of winning if you switch? The answer is no. Because the P of A, now I'm writing P of A to signify the chance of winning if you choose door A. Probability of winning if you choose door A is 50%. Probability of winning if you choose door C, if you switch to door C, is 50%. So both of these are the same. So you have no reason to switch because both are 50%. You have no mathematical reason to switch. You might switch for other reasons, but just to make it more exciting, just to think, okay, let me choose C. But mathematically, you don't have a higher chance of winning if you switch to door C. Okay, now 9 minutes into the video, this is the basic game that we are going to play. And the first time this game was played was by a game host called Monty Hall. And that is why this problem is called the Monty Hall problem. Now, at this point, you might be wondering, Kinda is saying Monty Hall problem, but where's the problem? There is no problem. Okay. So, at this point, you can pause. This is going to be a rather long video. So, because I haven't even described the problem, let alone describe the solution, let alone prove the solution. So, we are almost 10 minutes into the video. If you like, you can pause and you can go back and watch this entire thing again. Okay. So, now we continue with the same game. So, now we are coming to the Monty Hall game. and the Monty Hall problem. So we have the same game. Behind one of the doors is a car, behind two of the doors are bananas. So you choose again door A. At this point, the game host, who knows where the car is, he knows behind which door the car is opens door B or C to a banana. So obviously, if the car is behind door A, he can open B or C. Both of them are bananas. If, for example, the car is behind door B, he will open door C. It's got a banana. If the car is behind door C, he will open door B because that's got a banana. This door C has got a car. So in each case, he will open either door B or C depending on which of these has a banana behind. If both have a banana, then he can open any one. Otherwise, he opens the one without the banana if the other one has a car. Okay. So now let us assume he opens door B. Okay. So now it's the same thing. A you have chosen, B he has opened, C is closed. So now he offers you the possibility to switch to door C. Should you? He offers you here, as he said, the other person opened the door, she did not win. So you had again two doors left. The probability of winning was 50% for this, 50% for this. So here too, he now offers you the possibility to switch to door C from door A. Should you? So the answer is, you have to decide whether P of A is going to be less than P of C. If P of A is going to be less than P of C, you have to switch. Then you'll get a higher chance of winning. But we just saw here that the probability is 50%. There are two doors, behind one is a car. So obviously the probability is 50%. You would naturally think that P of A is 50%, P of C is 50%. Okay, now hold on to your seats because this is where it's getting to be very interesting. The answer is that is incorrect. P of A is not 50%, P of C is not 50%. Here when the other person opened it, I said P of A is 50%, P of C is 50%. Here this is true. In this example, it is not. And that's what I'm saying. I haven't proven it yet, but I will prove it. What is different between these two cases? Well, the difference is in the first case, the door was opened by somebody who didn't know where the car was. In the second case, the host opened the door, not another contestant. And the host knows where the car is, so he made sure that he opened the door without the car. If in this case, this lady who would open the door B, if she had won a car, that would be the end of it. You would be left without a car here, where you'd only get a banana, and if you chose to switch, you would also get a banana. But she opened the door and she did not win. Just so happened that she opened the door and she did not win. In this case, the host intentionally opens the door behind which he knows there is a banana. So, okay, to cut a long story short, the P of A remains at 33.3% and the P of C goes up to 66.6%. So, what it means is that if at this point you switch from A to C, you double your chance for winning from 33% to 66%. Now, I'm doing something that shouldn't be done, that is, I'm giving the answer before showing you how we arrive at the answer. But in this particular case, indulge me a little. I will say that this is the answer and then I will show you how you can calculate it. And remember, even when I explain it to you, you might still be unconvinced. Don't worry, you will be in good company. So the answer is you should switch. You double your chances of winning should you do so. So what is different from before? When I say before, I mean when the other contestant opened the door and you were left again with two doors, and your probability of winning either one of from either behind finding the car behind either of them was 50%. So in the earlier case, the second person chose a door at random, door B in our example. In this case, the game host is forced to open a door with a banana. So in a way, what he is offering you is that, suppose, let's just take an aside. Suppose you choose door A and you have a 33.3 chance of winning, but the host says to you, look, I'm feeling generous today. You can either choose that door or you can choose doors B and C. You can choose two doors instead of just one door. Then would you switch? Yes, of course you would switch, because why should you open one door when you're given the opportunity to open two doors? So if this was the situation, all three doors being closed, you would naturally switch. So if you could choose two doors, you would always do so, that is over one door. Okay, so this problem is a bit like that. By switching, you are actually choosing two doors. So if you choose A, then you have a 33% chance of winning. If you choose B and C, you have 66% chance of winning. Let us assume the car is behind door B. If you stick with your choice, you will not get the car. But in this situation, what has the host done? By having chosen A, you have forced the host to open door C. He cannot open door B because that's got a car behind it. So you, by choosing door A, you're forcing him to choose door C. And this aspect that you're forcing him is what makes the difference. He's not opening a door at random. He has to open a door behind which there is a banana. Otherwise the game collapses. Why will he open the door behind which there is a car and he knows there's a car there? So why should he open? So in a way, what he's doing is he's still offering you the choice of two doors, one of which he just has happened to open. So, and when I say has happened to open, it's not at random. He has opened it because it's the door with the banana. So in this case, if you switch to door C, you have a 66% chance of winning. If you stick to this, you have a 33% chance of winning, because of course the car could have been here and he could have chosen open door C, and if you choose to open door B, you'll get a banana because the car was behind here. So in 66% of the chances, you are guaranteed to win when you switch. In 33% of the chances, or the events, sorry, I should not say chances, in 66% of the times you play this game, you are guaranteed to win, because the car is behind one of these two doors, the door that he hasn't opened. That's guaranteed. But that's only 66% of the time. 33% of the time, the car is behind the door you have chosen initially. So it could be that you switch thinking that this is higher. You could still lose because the car would have been here, could have been there. So he is forced to open door C, and the probability of doors B and C together still remains 66%. But now that C is open, that entire probability goes to B. So if you switch, you have 66% chance of winning. It is like offering you to open both B and C, and if there's a car behind either one of them, you win. So this is what I said, that if he offers you a chance here to open two doors instead of one door, then obviously you have a double the chance of winning. In 33% of the cases, car is behind A. He will open B or C. If the car is behind A, he can open B or C. Makes no difference. In 66% of the cases, in which case the car is behind B or C, he will be forced to open the door without the car. Then it is guaranteed that the car is behind the other door. Other door means the other door between B and C. So if he opens C, it's guaranteed to be behind B. If he opens B, it's guaranteed to be behind C. So in 66% of the cases, if you switch, you will be guaranteed to get a car. So if you switch, you have a 66% into 100%. 100% represents the word guaranteed, which means you have a 66% chance of winning. Convinced? No. And it's true. This is very, very counterintuitive. The fact that the host is opening the door because he knows which door has the car is making a big difference, because you by choosing door A are forcing him to choose one of these two doors. If the car is behind one of these two doors, he has to choose the other one. If the car is behind door A, which you have chosen, then of course you can choose any at random. That's 33% of cases. In 66% of cases, he is indicating to you by opening the door behind which door actually is the car. So in 66% of cases, he is in effect telling you where the car is. In 33% of cases, he is not. So if you switch, you have a 66% chance of winning. If you don't switch, you have still the original 1/3 chance of winning. Now, in 1990, this explanation, there are many explanations. Let me add to this. Some are very mathematically complicated. If you try to draw the probability tree of this, it becomes very complicated, because you're changing the condition after you have drawn the probability tree. So if you just Google Monty Hall problem, you will get thousands and thousands of hits with different explanations, with different simulations. You can actually do simulations and see that you actually get these sort of results. Okay. That's going a little too far at the moment. Let's just concentrate. I'll give you a little historical background. In 1990, in one popular magazine in the United States, this result was published, that if you switch, you double your chances of winning. So after that was published, there were 10,000 letters from people saying that this is not true. You have printed something wrong. And out of those 10,000 letters, about 1,000 were from people who were scientists, who had PhDs, who were doctorates. And most notably, there's a mathematician, he's dead now, called Paul Erdos. He's one of the most prolific and famous mathematicians of recent times. He was Hungarian. He has written over 1,500 mathematical papers to his credit. What are papers? Scientific articles, which means he really is a great mathematician. Even he was not convinced. When he was shown the proof, he wasn't convinced. And finally, when he was shown some simulations, then he was convinced. So What is a simulation? A simulation is that you try this out yourself. So I will tell you how you can do so. You can go on the internet, you can Google Monty Hall problem simulation, you will find some animated simulations, but again, you don't know what's happening behind the computer screen, so that's not very convincing. So you can do your own simulations, and when I taught this in actually in-person classes, we used to do this simulation in the class, and all the students would see that actually it is true that by switching you double your chances of winning. So this simulation requires you to have a friend to help you. So you play the role of the game master, the game host, and your friend plays the role of the contestant. So you have to play with a friend. You choose A, B or C. You are the game host to put the car behind. So you choose A, B or C. Then ask a friend to choose a door. And that's it. Your friend has no further involvement. So you ask a friend to choose a door. He might choose A, B or C. So open one of the two remaining doors without a car. By saying open, I mean eliminate one of the two remaining doors without a car. So if you know what it is. If the car is behind door A and your friend chooses B, then you have to eliminate or open door C. If the car is behind door A and your friend chooses door A, then you have to you can open B or C. In the fourth step, your friend is no longer involved. You can see does your friend win or lose by switching? So if he wins by staying, put a tick in the stay column. So you make two columns, one is stay and one is switch. So if he wins by staying, put a tick in the stay column. If he wins by switching, put a tick in the switch column. So basically each time you play this, you will put one tick either here or here. And you do this several times. Indeed, that's your in-video problem homework, that you do this several times. Find a friend or a parent or somebody, or if you have a pet, you can put three things in front of him and he can choose one of those. That might be a little difficult, but still. And so do this, and then do this maybe 30 times, and then count the number of ticks in the stay column and now count the number of ticks in the switch column. You will see that the number of ticks in the switch column is double the number of ticks in the stay column. By saying double, I mean about double. It's not guaranteed that it will be exactly double, but it will be close to double, especially if you do a large number of times. And in our class, whenever I've done this, it has indeed turned out so. So do this several times. You will notice that the switch column has about twice the number of ticks as the stay column. So I give you an example of one round. So you choose B for the car. So I put a star there to indicate that it's a B, a circle with a cross in it. Friend chooses A. So there's a tick there. You are forced to open C because you know B as the car, so you're forced to open C. Friend now has A or B to choose from. Friend will win if he switches. If he switches, friend will win. So put a tick in the switch column. You put a tick in the switch column. Then you do a second round. Suppose you choose B for the car again. And you do this at random. The friend chooses B also. We put a tick below that just to indicate. This is only for this example, for this video. You don't have to do this every time. So you can open now A or C. But you open A. Friend has B or C to choose from. B or C. So friend will win if he stays. So put a tick in the stay column. So do this for about 30 times and send me your result. Um, and that's where we end with this video, with this chapter. So this, to reiterate, this is one example, and of course you can go on the internet, you can look at the simulations that you find on the internet, you can read the explanations, you can even go to the Wikipedia page of Monty Hall problem. And as I said at the very beginning, this is one example where knowledge of maths will help you take decisions in real life. I actually saw on television one game show like this, where the host would offer 3 doors, and the contestant will choose one door, and then the host will ask the audience, should she switch? And this was in Hindi, in Indian television. And the audience, half the audience would shout, no, no, don't switch, thinking that, the original choice was correct, and half the audience would shout, switch, switch. I would bang my head, because it always makes sense to switch in that particular situation. Okay, 31 plus minutes into the video, I will stop here. Do send me this result. If you don't do it, tell me you didn't do it. Don't just make up the results. But I would encourage you to do it, because this is so counterintuitive to what we think will be the result. Okay, I stop here.